Chapter 3. The One Who Was Never Born. The town historian, Mrs. Alder, lived at the far end of the village in a leaning wooden house swallowed by ivy. Elias had walked there with the photographs pressed against his chest the entire way, as if letting go would let something slip out of them. When the old woman opened her door, her cloudy blue eyes widened. "You look like you've seen a ghost," she murmured. "I think I have," Elias whispered. Inside, her home was quiet, heavy with the smell of old paper and dried herbs. Books covered every surface. Strange charms hung from the ceiling like frozen raindrops. Mrs. Alder motioned toward the table. "Show me." Elias hesitated only a moment before spreading all the photographs across the table. Some were decades old, yellowed and delicate. Others were newer, taken not long before Elias's mother died. But one thing was the same in all of them: the boy. Always near the edge, always half hidden, always staring. Mrs. Alder reached for a photo from 1923, her fingers trembling as if touching something alive. "That child," she whispered. "Dear God, he's still following your family?" "What do you mean?" Elias asked, a cold weight forming in his stomach. She sank back into her chair. "He's not a ghost," she said, voice cracking. "He's a curse." Elias felt the air thicken around him. Mrs. Alder spoke slowly, as if pulling the words from some old, forbidden memory. "In 1914, a woman in your family, your great-grandmother, bore a child out of wedlock, a boy named Silas." Elias blinked. "My mother never mentioned anyone named." "She wouldn't. His existence was erased." Mrs. Alder's hands tightened on the table. "Your great-grandmother was terrified, a child born in shame. The gossip alone would have destroyed her, so she lied. She said the baby was stillborn." She swallowed hard. "But he wasn't. She placed him in the woods that very night, in the snow, alone." Elias felt sick. "And he died there?" he whispered. "Cold, hungry, scared." Mrs. Alder's voice trembled. Unburied, unforgiven. Children who die unloved never rest. Their grief clings to the bloodline that rejected them." She lifted a photo, one where the child stood closer than in any other. "He follows the blood," she whispered. "Each generation, he draws nearer. When he reaches the last living descendant, he claims them." Elias felt the room spin. "I'm the last," he said. His voice was barely audible. Mrs. Alder closed her eyes. "Then time is running out for you." The silence between them was suffocating. Finally, she opened a drawer and took out a rusted key and an old map. "The place where he died, it's in the woods behind your home. If you want peace, if you want to survive, you must bury him." Elias hesitated. "Bury a spirit?" "Not his body," she said firmly. "His memory, his pain. Give him what he was denied." That night, Elias walked into the woods with a shovel, a lantern, and the photographs tied in a cloth bundle. The wind hissed through the trees, bending their branches like long fingers reaching for him. The deeper he walked, the colder it became. Unnaturally cold, like the air itself was rejecting him. Then, a shape, small, still, standing between two dead trees. Silas, the boy from the photographs. Exactly the same height, the same pale face, the same torn shirt collar. His black eyes reflected no light at all. Elias's breath hitched. Silas didn't move, didn't blink, only watched. Elias forced himself forward, the shovel shaking in his hand. "I know what happened to you," he whispered. "I know how they left you." The boy tilted his head slightly as if hearing those words for the first time. "I'm sorry," Elias said, his voice cracking. "You should have had a family, a home, a life." He dropped to his knees and began digging. The ground fought him, frozen, stubborn, unyielding, like it didn't want to open. But Elias didn't stop. He dug with aching arms, gasping breath and tears blurring his vision. Silas watched silently. When the hole was finally deep enough, Elias placed the bundle of photographs inside. "You deserve to be remembered," he whispered. "You deserve to be loved." For the first time, Silas stepped forward. The shadows around him lifted faintly, and his small face softened just enough to look almost like a real child. A whisper escaped him. "You came for me?" Elias nodded, tears falling freely. "Yes," he whispered shakily. "You're not alone anymore." Silas reached out and pressed one tiny freezing hand against Elias's chest. Warmth spread through the clearing, gentle, fragile, like a sigh of relief after a century of suffering. Then, slowly, Silas faded. First his fingers, then his arms, then his face, until nothing remained but a faint shimmer in the cold air. The woods fell silent. No footsteps, no breathing behind his shoulder, no shifting shadows. For the first time in months, Elias felt peace. He filled the grave, packing the earth tight, grounding Silas's memory in the place where his life began and ended. When Elias returned home, exhausted and numb, he almost collapsed from relief. But then, something caught his eye. A photograph, lying on the floor, fresh, warm, humming with a faint vibration like a heartbeat. Elias's hands shook violently as he lifted it. It was a picture of him, taken tonight, standing in the woods. But this time, Silas wasn't a child. Behind Elias stood a tall man, eyes black as a starless night, face twisted into something between sorrow and hunger. And beneath the image, etched as if burned into the paper, "The curse does not die, only its shape changes."